Happy Monday, 6/8. Dig right into today's daily coaching tip. We're using the daily prayer guide we passed out on Sunday at church to kind of guide us through this Holy Week as we prepare for Easter. Today we're looking at how Jesus cleansed the temple, and I want to read just a couple of verses that are on your sheet, and then just talk for a minute about some of the implications of this and our relationship with God as we look at making that application. Luke chapter 19. Verse 45 and 46, when Jesus entered the temple courts, he began to drive out those who were selling. It is written, he said to them, my house will be a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of robbers. And I would encourage you to go and read some of the other accounts of Jesus cleansing the temple, is what this is called. And then also there's a prayer focus that I would love for you to read through those prayer focuses and just pray through them and let God do a work in us every single day this week as we walk through this Holy Week. But Jesus cleansed the temple, and he said, it is written, my house should be a house of prayer, but you've turned it into a den of robbers. Well, see, now that Jesus Christ has ascended and he left his Spirit to dwell in us, we are now the dwelling place of the Almighty. God dwells in us through his Holy Spirit. And so now we are his temple. And so that means that when we come together on a Sunday morning, we're not coming together in the temple where all of us gather together in the holy temple, but now we all bring the sanctuary with us. We bring the temple with us because God dwells in his people. He dwells in us, and he is present in us as his Spirit is in us. And so now I think an application we need to look at is how have we allowed our bodies to become, to harbor sinful things? Are we carrying around in our temple things that would disgrace God? Are we carrying around in us? Are we in our minds, in our minds, soul, heart, body, strength? Are there things in us that would dishonor God? If Jesus were to come and go through our temple, the temple where he dwells in us, and he were to come and go through our temple in the same way that he did in this temple here at the beginning of the Holy Week, would he have things to purge? Would he look around and say, this is supposed to be a place where I dwell, but you've made it this? And if it is, what are those things that God can then purge and clean out and push out and remove? And are there ways that the world has kind of crept in? Has sin crept into our lives? Has the unholy kind of crept in and started to make the temple a filthy, dirty, rotten, smelly place? So I think as we enter into this Holy Week, as we begin this week heading towards the cross, it's very important that we start off this week by allowing God to check us. Check me, see if there is any unrighteous way in me. Create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit within me, and restore to me the joy of my salvation. That's one of my hopes and prayers for us as we head through this week, is that the joy of our salvation will be fully restored, that we will just be in awe and amazed at what God did for us on the cross, that we won't take it for granted, and that we will just be blown away at the fact that God went to such extreme measures so that we could experience grace. And so if there's anything in us, God, is there anything in me that you need to cleanse? Is there anything in me that you need to push out? Is there anything in me you need me to get rid of, so that I can be more connected to you? God, if there is, would you just cleanse me of it? Would you push it out of my life and help me from this day forward to be walking more in step and more in tune with your Spirit, as your Spirit dwells in me and I carry your presence around to the world? That's I think, a great way to start off this week. Make sure you're reading those tips. Make sure you're praying through all these different prayer focuses that we have today. And make sure you come back tomorrow for another tip when we're going to look into another day of the Holy Week of Jesus. Have a great day. Remember to be investing and inviting, working on those relationships with your friends and your family, so that when Sunday rolls around, you've done the necessary work so that they are expecting to be invited to come and hear about the resurrection at 6A Church. Have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow.